heard it many times from Donald Trump, this 51st state. What's your takeaway?
Well, you know, they can't, they've come off of 70 years of failed wars of occupation. The American, one thing you have to understand about these comments is that they come from a profound weakness that America really is unfamiliar with, and Canada is unfamiliar with America being this weak. You know, they can't hold Baghdad. I'm not sure why they think they could hold Montreal, but I mean, they're also being kicked out of Niger, and, you know, they are weaker than they've ever been in a lot of ways. They are extremely fragile as a country. They have absolutely no solidarity. They have absolutely no unity. They are in the middle of dismantling their administrative state. And war is a test fundamentally of the strength of the administrative state. So I think you should take this about as seriously as you would take the ramblings of a crack addict on the subway, i.e. you pay attention to it and you get out of the way and you do what you can. But, you know, this is not something to be treated like an actual, you know, something to be thought about. It's just the ramblings of lunacy.
If, you know, just the psychological, I don't know what you want to call it, trauma maybe that it kind of inflicts on Canada, especially, never mind that, the economic turmoil that could be inflicted on this country as of midnight with 25% tariffs, sort of repeating this call, repeating this threat, saying, hey, all this pain that you're suffering, Canadians, it can all be lifted if you become the 51st state. You know, I just wonder about the wear and tear that it could have on Canadians.
Look, I actually think, you know, he's actually managed to make Canadians patriotic for the first time since I can remember. You have to remember, like you say, he's the president of the United States, but the United States is crumbling. Our institutions are falling apart. And who the United States is at this moment that's not a meaningful phrase. Like you really have to ask yourself, which America are you talking about? Which institutions are you talking about? Because they are not under the guidance of anyone. Right? Like, are you actually talking about the U.S. military? Because whether they would do this is actually very, very unclear. And whether the president has the power to do any of that, you know, all he can do right now is destroy. And, you know, the American stock market is falling. Even the threat of this going into place has caused, you know, inflation to raise its head. The American people fired everyone who has caused gas prices to rise almost immediately. They can tolerate almost anything from their political class, war crimes, whatever, but increased gas prices they go crazy for. So it's just very important to understand that this is spoken from a position of profound weakness.
What do you make of, you know, a lot of the booing we've heard? Ottawa Senators game, a Toronto Raptors game, and a Vancouver Canucks game over the weekend.
Yeah.
Loud booing from the fans.
You know, obviously right now they are our opponents in some silliness. America is going through, I mean, America's never been an uglier place to want to become part of. I mean, who would want to be American at this point in history? They're about to start killing each other. There is no question that there is a Canadian rejection of American values, the American government, and America itself. Why wouldn't you reject these people? They're, you know, they're awful. This is what Trump does, right? He makes people angry. That's his system. That's what he uses to get power. That's what he uses to get attention and to get exposure from that. I mean, he's very much in all of our thoughts. And that's what he really cares about. You know, he's really a reality television star who has infiltrated power. And that's what he can do. You know, I mean, it is going to be very destructive. I mean, I think our allegiances and our alliances are all going to crumble. There will be, of course, enormous damage from the destruction of the liberal order that he represents. We've seen that coming for a long time now, right? Like those orders have been crumbling for a while, and this is just really the end of them.